This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports Chaco. We're here at Glen once again with Ric Flair, or AK Dee Walsh. How are you, mate?
All good, man. All good.
It's been a while, obviously, since we spoke. I think the build-up, obviously, the fight week, Conor card. It's been a busy, obviously, period since. I guess you'd obviously call him and Pody both on that card as well, and I guess we've had a lot since. But sort of recapping, I guess back, that was sort of a big night for the gym, wasn't it?
Yeah, big time. Especially there was two title fights on it, Murph and Pody, and two victories as well, which is brilliant.
I guess it's sort of hard going back in time. Like, I know we're coming up in the busy period as well. Obviously, Pody, obviously success in Germany. I guess I sort of want to touch on this a wee bit. Obviously, I haven't really spoke to Pody in person yet, but I guess it's just proof in the pudding. That's 5 straight knockouts now. Like, I guess everybody's going to want to delve into the mind of Dee Walsh and figure what you've done with Pody since he's joined up, because it's knockout after knockout since he joined up with you.
Well, he's got better and better as times went on. We more or less started properly training during the first lockdown over in the Mary Peters track when we had nowhere to go, and then Pody's just kept getting better since then. Because Pody's not stupid. Pody understands a lot of things I'm doing, the system that I'm building here and stuff like that there. So he's really took it on board, everything we've done, and everything's worked out better than I could have imagined, to be honest.
I guess when that sort of opportunity came, like I was up on the gym that day and obviously I'd done some videos, and then I was like, you're going to have to remove them videos off. We're trying to covertly get a fight, so we have to make it look as if we're not training. But I guess when you sort of look at the fight, you could probably say it went according to plan. Like, I guess the thing is, you can't go to Germany and expect to get a points decision. How happy were you? I guess, have you really had time to sort of digest and look back on the fight? There's always going to be bits, I guess, you're going to look at and you're going to go, we could have done this better, we could have done that better, but you couldn't have probably asked for a better outcome in terms of probably how one-sided sort of was, in a way that probably Pody hurt him early on and just took him to town.
Well, we expected what he was. That's exactly what we expected. Do you know what I mean? Because of the studying that I had done on the opponent. So we basically knew what he was going to do. So we were able to use what he had and then turn it against him, like turn the tables on him. Everything that he was good at, we basically, as I say, had a plan, had an answer for everything. So no, it was even Pody said after in the post-fight interview that they says it was there anything that took you by surprise, and Pody says no, because obviously we had been watching them and we had 3 game plans, 3 answers for every one thing he had. Do you know what I mean? So, and you could see it in the fight itself that even when he was even trying to gain a wee bit of momentum, Pody just put him back in his place again.
Did he think he would sort of get the bun so early on? Like, obviously the first knockdown in round 2. Did he think, because I guess you look at Germans that are durable and they could take a punch, but Pody's obviously had that with the previous 4 opponents that they could take punches. Did he think he would break bun down so quickly in the fight?
I said to Pody, it must have been about 6 weeks ago now, and we were deciding on what like kind of trap the set for him whenever he throws this or whatever it was. I said to him I had a dream that he hit him with that shot, and it was mad. He said, I'm near sure he said to me he did as well, or he said he had been thinking about it or visualising it or something. So we worked on that shot more than we worked on the rest of his shots. So we were in the game plan building up to it. I know really if Pody hits anybody clean, they're going to be at least hurt every time. Do you know what I mean? So I was probably taken a wee bit by surprise by. I thought his punch resistance would have been a bit better, but at the same time, it's Pody at the end of the day.
And obviously in the 3rd round as well, like, I guess, a lot of people's opinions was the fight should have been stopped in the 3rd round. Like, he took quite a lot of punishment. At that stage, when obviously it gets to the end of the 3rd round, I guess you see that Leon Bung goes in the neutral corner and everything else. I sort of spoke to Pody about this last week as well. It's hard for a fighter to keep going and keep 100%, knowing you're doing a lot of damage to an opponent, and the last thing you want is their health to deteriorate from it. Was it just more a case of trying to keep Pody calm? Because, exerting a lot of energy in round 3, you're probably going, he's blowing a gasket here. If Bun comes back from this, we could be in baller, particularly on away terms as well.
Well, at the end of that 3rd, obviously Pody used up a lot of energy, so round 4, he just kind of stood him from that bun work a wee bit. But then that was also to get him to come out of his kind of shell and throw more punches, so then Pody could hit him cleaner in round 5 or 6. Do you know what I mean? So, but in terms of him, like, it probably should have been stopped at the end of the third, because I went and done a cutman course for about.
You're a jack of all trades now, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'd done the cutman course, and they were showing you like signs of concussion and bleeding their brain and stuff like that there, like what way people's feet are dragging on the floor and this and that, and they got fast and never been fighting past round 3. The way he fell in the ropes and then walked back down neutral corner and stuff like that there, so never continued. Like,
it's definitely very worrying signs, and I guess when the finish comes in the 6th round, that's a second straight fight. Paraban, he put down that short right hook as well. Pody had sort of said he's been working on that wee short right hook, because obviously it's one of the testaments they say. It's a fight. The punches you don't see are the ones that hurt you the most, but you know, it seems to be his new signature punch now, that short right hook.
Yeah, it's a sneaky one, and Pody, it's not just about the fact that you hit someone. It's as simple as hitting someone with a right hook. Like, we work on also how to get in to throw that shot and what to do before you throw the shot and stuff like that there as well. But it seemed to have been very effective, these last 2, and see how it goes. Keep doing it.
I said now move it to the short left hook and stuff as well. For you, I guess, obviously as a trainer as well, did you think, because obviously I know your ambitions, obviously having world champion pros, world champion amateurs and everything else, did you think an opportunity would come so early on, and now that it has come, what sort of impact does it have? Has it breed more confidence to you? Do you know that what you're doing is working?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think in boxing you're never done learning. I've learned even from my fight, and I'm sure that I'll learn 100 times more in the next coming years. But it does give me more confidence in what I'm doing is working as well, and I'm going to continue to do it, but obviously keep getting better doing it as well.
It's obviously a busy period coming up. Obviously, just under 3 weeks. You've two of your lads obviously headlining and co-headlining in Gurwood Community Hub. For obviously Owen, it's obviously I'd probably say it's Owen's probably more bigger fight than Colum's in a way, because Owen's obviously never had the sort of opportunities as an amateur that sort of maybe Colum would have had. I guess it's going to be a tough night's work. I guess that probably both fights aren't going to go back to back because they're so important for the stable. But is it obviously now just about keeping this train going? And they're 2 really good fights as well.
Yeah, look forward to it, especially with Owen being from North Belfast as well. He's not from too far away from Gurwood, and as you say, it's probably Owen's biggest fight so far. The fact that it's he actually was saying he's never won nothing in the amateurs, or he's never won nothing ever in boxing. So he's putting the work in, and he's actually looking pretty good. So he is in sparring, and Murph is as well. But I would say that it is probably bigger for him. This year one, obviously Conor Quinn's on the bill too. So now it'll be a big night, and we're preparing more and more every day for it, and I'm looking forward to it as well.
Definitely Glean's becoming the home of champions. Is it probably the only sort of, I don't really want to touch on this too much because obviously it's about moving forward rather than backwards. It's probably the only sort of distasteful thing is obviously Conor's obviously draw last time out in the Europa. You know, most people, you know, even at ringside and everything else thought he'd won it. Is it just about the fact of using, I guess, the good experience to say, well, Conor, you're out of the ring for so long, you're back, and he can obviously now build on a draw, because let's face it, that opponent was a decent opponent as well, so it's not like you can be going with a journeyman that sort of was never going to win. Do you sort of take a lot of positives now from that to go, well Conor, you're back, and now we can kick on from that?
Well, at the end of the day, like, the guy was fighting was he had 7 wins, 6 of them were by knockout. And me and Conor actually watched the fight that he went in distance in, that he won, and he dropped the guy about 3 times as well, so he's a massive puncher. He lost to the WBC #1 challenger, and I think it was the fight before he fought Conor, was it? It was one of them. It was one of the last fights he's had anyway. And he was a Pan American Games gold medalist as an amateur. Conor was telling me that he reached the quarter-final, I think it was, in the World Championships as well, so that's a guy who was top 8 in the world as an amateur. Like, that's for Conor to be fighting him in his 3rd fight after being out for 3 years is it's good, the fact that he got a draw, but at the same time everybody who was there and everybody who watched it knows that it wasn't a draw. Everybody, I mean, talking to every single person, there wasn't one person says otherwise, apart from the judge himself. So it's unfortunate, actually really unfortunate. It's the first time anybody in our camp has not won. Like, at the years I've been doing this as a professional coach, everybody's won every fight. And it's just a pity that, and I never would have expected it to be Conor to not win, because he's so good. But at the same time, he can build on it, and as I say, he actually did win the fight as well. So.
And I guess it's just, you know, it's keeping that trend going now to say the gym is still unbeaten, so you obviously haven't had a defeat, you know, as a coach yet. I guess the thing is obviously keeping that consistency going. Are you sort of still having to pinch yourself at obviously how much of the stable's grown and building so quickly? Like, obviously the development stages have been there for a lot of fighters. I guess there's obviously Column's obviously 6th fight in 14 months as well, and Liam Gaynor seems to have looked as he's built the foundations well. He's obviously fought really good journeymen in Brett Fido and Ed Harris. He obviously defeated by Ed Harrison, but another really good fight, another good test for Colum to see how his development's going. Oh,
big time. Like, that guy, Liam Gaynor, he's a good pro. So he's very solid in what he's doing. What I've seen of him so far. No, it's a good test for Con, and I've got a lot of confidence in him to win. But that guy Liam Gaynor is pretty good. He's a good job and all as well. So it's not going to be an easy fight whatsoever. But I do have confidence that he is going to win.
Obviously, when I touch on Jared Hughes as well, obviously he fought the same night as Pody. Obviously, you weren't able to be in two places at once. It's a testament itself. There's one Dee Walsh, but they have two Dee Walshes. It would be a nightmare for more people. But I'm obviously sure you're relieved to see Jared get underway, and probably the next time around is making sure that it doesn't lap with other fights so that you can be in the corner.
Unfortunately, it's a game we're in, and it probably will happen more in the future. But hopefully, we're more organised in the future, in terms of like that it doesn't happen again. But it's as I say, it's the game we're in, so it is going to happen. But we'll be more organised next time, because as I say, like, we're constantly learning this game, and even that itself is the first time that's happened to me. The two fighters fighting two different places in one night. But thankfully, me and Jared had a game plan for his fight too, and he did do everything that I asked him. Thank God. So. He boxed pretty well, so hopefully we can go forward, and Gerald will be even better next time with me in his corner.
You obviously seem to be the new face of TG4 as well. Obviously, every TG4 card that's been done so far, you've been part of it. How much of an influence is that obviously helping fighters in training, particularly with obviously Owen in particular? Obviously, it's going to be the biggest fight, knowing that they're going to be obviously people to watch anywhere in the world in TG4. Is that just obviously showing that boxing now starting to rebuild? That obviously we're getting, you know, terrestrial TV get involved again, and giving fighters these obviously opportunities to grow, rather than just trying to sell tickets and do things themselves on social media.
Yeah, big time. It's always better, obviously, when TV is involved. And it's brilliant, especially the TG4, that they're one of the ones that you don't have to subscribe to, like Sky or DAZN or something like that there. But no, it's brilliant, because everybody got to see Podys fight there. As I say, we're going in West Belfast, people are recognising us and congratulating us and stuff like that there. So it's always a positive when TV's involved. Thank God they are.
And I think we're potentially maybe looking at Pody being back on the SSE card. Obviously, nothing's been confirmed yet, but that'd be a great way to obviously end the year. Obviously, up until August he hadn't fought, and he's obviously now going to fight 3 times in 6 months. So I guess, you know, it's probably fitting now that probably Pody gets the opportunity, obviously headline maybe even half an arena at the SSE. I think me and Sean McComb spoke about that in August, and saying give Pody the chance and see how many tickets he can sell. Bring something like Rocky Fielding, you know, to the SSE, and who knows how much he could sell, because Pody's a really good guy, and you and him's been knocking about since you're knee height to a grasshopper.
Mm-hmm. No, it'd be brilliant. That his managers do that job in terms of like what the fights are going to be, who he fights. But obviously, I would love it as a coach if that was to happen for him, because I think he deserves it, because of not only the person he is too, because he's a humble guy, and obviously because we've known each other our whole lives, boxed with each other our whole lives, probably done more sparring with each other than he's done with anybody or I've done with anybody. Do you know what I mean? So we know each other inside and out, and Yeah, it'd be absolutely brilliant if I was to have him. It really would be.
Obviously, I'm not even going to touch on obviously another subject, because obviously I know your thought on it before. I do have obviously a few questions because we put out last night that obviously we're doing an interview with you. One question was, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, a fighter that you currently don't work with that's Irish, who would you want to work with? You don't currently work with, in terms of skill wise. What would you look at for, another fighter, say, that's currently active as a pro, that you may, if you had an opportunity to work with, you'd love to do it?
You on about like other Irish fighters?
Yeah, other current Irish pros.
Who would I choose to? I'll be honest with you, I'm happy with the people I have, but at the same time, I'm not one of these coaches who tries to coach other fighters. And there's I found out that when I was away in Germany about coaches who phone managers and beg for fighters and stuff like that. It's not my crack either. But to say, if more people come to me, and then obviously whatever skill set I have, then obviously I can try to make it better. But I would never choose someone to train. Do you know what I mean? Because it'd probably be disrespectful the fact that they probably have coaches as well. Do you know what I mean?
And the same token, obviously, there's a second part of that question was an away fighter. Now I know probably your two favourite fighters away are, one of them is probably Shakur Stevenson. He's probably one you probably ideally like to work with, and the other one's obviously a new pro, English guy, the Olympian. Ben Whittaker. So probably say if it's an away fighter, probably if you had the opportunity, they'd be probably one of two you would pick, or would you have somebody different?
Well, one person I would have loved to have trained is Lomachenko. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen, but at the same time, because you do learn off your fighters as well, believe it or not. You learn through them and you learn of them as well. But how much you would learn off Lomachenko would be amazing.
Do you think you could add something? Is it more about trying to understand and probably get inside their mind to sort of tweak tiny wee things? Because somebody like Lomachenko has been there and done it all. Like, how could you sort of change something to what Loma's already done?
That's the thing about it. You have to actually know a person as well, then know what they improve on. And so you couldn't even answer that until you actually got to know the person as well.
Obviously, just as you touched on Loma, obviously he's back at the weekend, obviously fought Jermaine Ortiz. What did you make of the performance? Is it people sort of downgrade him now as if they think he's on the way out? I guess it's just that running activity, and the Devin Heaney fight might bring the best back out in Loma again?
Well, probably, I'll be honest with you, I haven't got to see the fight yet, but I will watch him when I get the chance. But I would dare say with Lomachenko's skill set, that he's probably, even if he is 7 out of 10 of what he used to be, still probably good enough to be competing at the top level, like with likes of Devin Heaney. So you wouldn't know, because Devin Heaney's on top of his game too, and he's had some brilliant fights there, so you wouldn't know who'll win that one. I
guess obviously Heaney's more on the jab, and I guess if that stops Loma moving, that's obviously the biggest thing. But I guess probably people's now looking at Shakur Stevenson, and obviously him obviously lighting up at lightweight. I've obviously looked at him for quite a while, and obviously I know you've been a big fan. He just seems to sort of be in that Floyd mantle, where Floyd's second part of his career was more on the defensive side of things, and up until was it super feather or lightweight, he went forward, whereas Stevenson seemed to do it backwards. He started off defensively, and now he's starting to work out a bit. But he's really probably one for any sort of amateur to watch and to sort of try and understand obviously how he does the sweet science very well.
No, I agree with you, and you'll probably see in times as he goes on in his career that he'll probably reinvent himself again and maybe even become more defensive as he goes up the weights too, because Bernard Hopkins did it, Mayweather did it. They reinvented themselves in terms of changing their style just a wee bit, so he'll probably do the same.
Another question was obviously asked to me as well is obviously when you were still fighting as a pro, and I know we keep egging you on, but obviously when you were a pro, would you ever have wanted to go for an IBO belt yourself?
100%, definitely. Why not? It's a brilliant belt to have. As you see, the reception Pody's got here, why wouldn't you?
Exactly, it's a real success story. I want to finally obviously touch on obviously the over 30s, because obviously you're in the over 30s club yourself. The over 30s club and obviously Irish boxing lately has been incredible. You'd obviously, Anto Kukac, you'd obviously started it off. Dennis Hogan, Eric Donovan, Dara Foley, and obviously Pody. What is it about the seasoned pros that are obviously now showing the way? Is it just that they've learned and experienced everything in boxing, that they're now grabbing an opportunity with two hands? What is it about the over 30s club that's doing it?
Well, maybe it could be a factor that you you don't really know your body until maybe you're in your late 20s. Maybe that's why I say people start peaking at around about that stage. But the science is getting better in terms of the body, and people are starting to know more on how to eat well, how to train better. That, as I say, maybe like Pody, for example, he's became more and more professional as times went on, and maybe that's what it could be, that they've learned from their mistakes in terms of to build up the fight and how to train for fights. So maybe that's just what it could be. It could be other factors too, but I would say that probably is the biggest one.
Maybe for some it may have been their last chance to learn, obviously in particular probably Dennis and Eric, but I guess sometimes when all the chips are in and you know that if I lose this is over, they're going to go out and perform the best. Like I thought Dennis Hogan in particular, I thought Sam Egington brings wars, and he just stopped them in his tracks, just be sort of playing the sort of 1-2 and sort of straight back hands. He just seemed to, like, I don't think I've seen Dennis probably look as good since the Munguia fight, but at 37 years of age, I guess he knows that one more defeat and he's finished.
That's it, and when a fighter boxes like that, they really do bring out the best of themselves. Like Pody kind of has that attitude, not that if he loses he's going to pack it in, but he does have that type of attitude in the fights that if I get beat because of he's 34, that he's constantly thinking where does he go from her. So he actually brings out the best of himself, and I'm sure that was the same with Dennis Hogan, because I dare say it would be his last chance at a world title. So fair play to him, he grabbed it with both hands.
Where would you like to see, obviously now because Pody's ideally still a super middleweight, but obviously he's the IBO light heavyweight champion, where ideally would you like to see him be? Is it just a guess of what opportunities come? And I guess money talks nowadays, is where's going to give him the most money?
What's the thing about it? Money is maybe apart from winning world titles is the biggest factor in the game, because he is professional and it is his job. So so I let his manager deal with that, and I'm sure if an opportunity comes up at either weight, he's going to grab either one. Do you know what I mean? Whatever the best opportunity is.
Right. Well, listen, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, I know it's a busy morning. We've caught you before the influx of students come in, but I'm sure also we'll catch up with you very soon. Maybe we get an end of year review like we done last year and just see how everything's went. But thanks very much for your time, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.